Oh, I guess we're already live. We didn't do our countdown.
What?
I forgot to hit it. I'll do
Oh,
it now.
okay. Well, hello. Hi, live. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Yeah.
Hello again from iEvolveTV. It's Shannon and Dreama.
Yeah.
I'm in a different spot, so I can't. Dreama, Shannon.
Yes.
Am I like delayed?
Yeah, I feel like there's a little bit of a delay, but that's okay. Not much. I
Okay.
mean, just like a second, maybe. Nothing really big, just a little ditty. It's okay.
Yeah, and I'm using the audio from my laptop and the camera rather than, the external pieces because I just
Oh,
didn't want to travel with them. I just didn't want to have to haul them. So,
great. Yeah. Yeah. You're on
do you hear?
location. I'm on
Yeah.
location
Do you hear it echo?
a little bit.
I don't know if it's just because of the room I'm in. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it
Um,
probably would be. Yeah, maybe so.
I could put my headphones on and look like, a old-fashioned operator.
It's up to you. Whatever you're comfortable with, I'm comfortable. I'm good.
Look at that.
Oh, look at you. Oh, hello.
Houston,
We have a
can you
problem.
hear me?
Yeah, I can
Is
hear
that
you.
better? Less echo? Okay. Awesome.
Uh,
So,
yeah,
we're
either way.
talking about some cool things this morning, huh?
Yeah, yeah. We're going to talk a little bit about psychic activation, sensitives, intuitives, mediums, the whole package, and how to help you if you are, if you feel any of these things, which most people do,
Yes.
and how to define yourself a little bit better and to know what do you want to do with these things. You know what I mean? I
Hmm.
have I have people that I know. Well, what is that? I have hair in my face.
Oh,
I, I have people that I know that have,
when you say that, that could be anything. If I can't see it, I don't know what the heck you're
yeah,
talking
it's very fine. I have clients anyway that came to me and they have like they know they're psychically active, they're intuitive, they want to expand
about. Hmm.
themselves out, and some of them will be like, they're like, I don't want to do readings, I just want to expand my gift out even more. So for my family,
Right.
so I can use it with my family and whatnot. And so then I will
Hmm.
give them like some tools to go home and do. Um, to enhance, we can talk about that too, tools that you can use to
Yeah.
expand your gift out there and sort of
Hmm.
practice, um, and stuff. So it's fun. It's definitely, exploring the gifts that you've been given. What's in your toolbox?
Right.
What's in your
And we
wallet?
all have a toolbox,
We all have a toolbox.
whether we know it or not. Yeah,
That's
that's
right.
right.
Yeah. So what's in yours? Um, yeah, what's in your toolbox? So very cool.
I think I'm a feeler.
You're a feeler. Yeah, very
Yeah, energetically sensitive.
energetically sensitive. Yeah. Yeah. I
And
feel
by
like,
that I mean emotions, right?
right.
Because um, that's all that the word emotions actually even means is energy and motion.
Energy and motion. Right.
So, hmm
Exactly. Yeah. But when we, as a sensitive, defining a sensitive, I mean, there is a movie on, is it on Netflix about, no, it's not Netflix, it's on Gaia. It's about, that's the name of it. It's called Sensitive. And
oh,
it's about people that are super, excuse me, excuse me. Anyway, super sensitive. ah, super sensitive. And that, I think there's a spectrum there that could go from like 1 to 100. You know what I mean? 100 being the
hmm
most sensitive, and then being one being very not very sensitive. Um, and you sort of learn how to flow with your own. And sensitive is not being like um, uh, where you're how would you say it? Um, where you're offended real easy. That's not what this. That's not that kind of sensitive. This is a sensitive where
right.
you walk into a room, you walk into a place, you sense the people in the building. They don't even have to be around
Hmm.
you. You can feel what's
Right.
happening in there. You can
Hmm.
feel um, people's, other their emotions or whatever's going on for them. Um, uh, and it can be very overwhelming,
Yes.
honestly. I mean, I've been in where you walk into a restaurant and you literally feel sick because somebody in there is sick. You just know it. It's like they're there, but there's something going on in their stomach, and so then you start feeling sick to your stomach. Um, so that's to me is very what being sensitive to an extreme level can be like. It's like everywhere you
Mhm.
go, you're feeling all the time. And and so how would we take that down where it would be more comfortable? I mean, how would you encourage somebody
Um, so that you're not so
that you're not
sensitive.
so sensitive?
I
Yeah.
mean, I mean, I have my own personal practices of um, some of the things aren't really appropriate. So I'm going to say them anyway. Um, so you just imagine your energetic, your auric field, and it's I just imagine it like like I guess it is an egg, but it's more shaped like a disco ball, and it has mirrors on the outside, and so it
Okay.
reflects everything back. Like I'm not, I don't necessarily, I can perceive it, but I don't necessarily need to feel it to the depths that maybe would affect me. So there's that, or just reminding yourself, activating your Shushuma line or your Hara line that we practice in Reiki, and reminding myself of my connection. Um, gosh, there's so many things. We both wear protection pouches once in a while.
Yeah.
I always wear my mole mirror. That always reminds me. It's just like people wearing, for their own personal, their crosses, like reminding yourself. And it's a practice of putting it on
Yes.
because that's that's the magic. That's the protection. That's
Exactly.
the actual symbol doesn't really matter.
Right. Exactly. It's not
So,
that, it's in that putting it on. That's why I wear my mala all the time, and it's just to
mhm,
remind me of prayer
right.
and to go through those places and spaces of praying, and then even to go through gratitude. You can use a mala for a
Mhm,
million different things, but when you
right.
touch it, for me, it reminds me I'm completely covered in prayer. I'm completely covered. There's nothing to worry about, and I can move into this space. I can move into any space and feel very
Mhm.
protected and from being a sensitive for myself. Uh, yeah, it has been
How
overwhelming.
did I miss any that maybe you would add? Like
No,
how
I
to,
think you did really good. I think that's totally. I think I do a lot of that envisioning the uh,
yes.
the energy body, and I do that with clients a
Mhm,
lot. Say, okay, I want you to envision this beautiful golden white light, golden and white light around you, and you're covered in this web of energy. And so we're going to repair and fix the web around you. And
mhm,
so
mhm,
of impact and things that have happened that have torn or put, um, uh, places of where the web is thinner than other places, just reinforce it. And so you can do that. I've did that in restaurants before.
mhm.
The restaurant, I can't go in like a place like what do you call those? A sports bar. I cannot go to a sports bar. Do not take me to a sports bar. There's just
There's a
way,
lot of
way too much
all
energy.
the energy of the TVs, and
Yeah.
there's all different audios going on at the same time. That's tough. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I
There's
agree.
like 20 televisions going and then
Hmm.
hundreds of people and it's like no, no, can't do this ever again. But the only time that I had to endure it, I basically sat there and put like envisioned in myself like going into a shield, like and all the armor coming down around me.
Right.
And that was the only way I got through it. I was like, and then everybody was like, "Are you okay?" Because I was sort of zoned out. It absolutely tripped me out because I had to literally probably just sort of leave my current situation. So then you're just sort
Right.
of vacant body sitting there and you're not really doing anything. You're just sort of there.
Right.
But yeah,
Perceiving the environment.
yeah,
I mean, that's pretty
yeah,
much all you can do, really.
yeah, exactly. I got to check out because I knew it was just too overloading for me, but as a
Right.
sensitive. But okay, so
Well, and also, you can also call in your. Well, it really depends on the person and what their belief system is. But
yes,
calling in your guides and your angels,
yes,
you can think of them as your energetic
your
bodyguards,
team. Yeah,
your network of team.
your
So
team.
that works sometimes for me. I'm gonna say sometimes because it always works every
Yeah, it
single
works for
time.
me too.
Yeah. Um,
Get on the
but
horn.
you
Call
can,
your team.
yeah,
Team, I need you now.
call in your ancestors, call in your guides, call in your, whatever you want to call them.
Yes.
If you want to
That's
define them as different, having different roles in your mind's eye, and that this person does this person does this, what, or, you know, spirit
yeah,
does this.
yeah,
Doesn't
exactly,
matter, but
exactly. Whatever you got
whatever's
to do.
whatever, if that makes sense to you, then do that.
Yes.
There's not necessarily a right or wrong. There's I don't even necessarily like to say light or dark, but I
Yeah.
guess, yeah. I mean, a
We have,
positive or negative, I guess.
I think that we have been conditioned, and um, we have definitely been conditioned and raised to believe certain ideals and principles having to do with spirituality and dealing with intuitive and giftings, that are unique giftings. And so we put these people away. I mean, this is what we've done for centuries. I mean,
These scary
we burned them
stories.
at the stake before that.
Oh,
You're weird, you're dead. We don't want you because you're weird, and you're practicing something that we don't approve of because it doesn't hold up to a book standard that we have embraced. Um,
right.
and and so that is still a permeating thing in a lot of places. I would say in different,
Hmm.
probably different locations as you move through the maps. You're going to run into locations where it's very constricted, and people will beat you
Hmm.
on the head with their books, um, per se. And then you're going to move throughout other spaces where people are very open and very receiving,
Hmm.
and they're embracing, and because it's part of. I believe it's all part of our different unique paths that we all have to walk. You know, um, and I mean, I've been on many different paths myself in the sense of some more constricted than others, and so that's why I'm
Hmm.
talking from firsthand experience of being told, in a more conservative path, more religious path. This is how we define your relationship with the divine. They define it for you, and that's the difference between spirituality and religion. Spirituality says, "I have a path, and
Hmm.
I'm the creator of my path." Religion
Right.
says, religion says, "Here's the path, and you do it how we say, or else you're off the
Yep.
path." You
Fall
know.
in step.
Yep.
Fall in line.
Exactly. And
I
so,
say no.
yeah, exactly. And so you're not going to experience any expansion or understanding of psychic activity, intuitive being a medium, if you feel like you're a medium, under that guise, because they're going to tell you to evacuate. You do not fit the norm.
Right.
And that's okay. You have to give yourself permission. It's okay, and that's what
Hmm.
happened to me, basically. I had to give myself permission to move into my true calling of what I've came here for, and when I
Right.
opened myself for it, bam, everything just opened up. And and
Well,
it
and there's been generations of people taught, like, I hate to pick up on the Catholic Church, but really, I mean, they started a lot of stuff. So,
hmm
um, yeah, or ended a lot of stuff as well. If people were been brought up for generations believing that their only link to the divine is
it's true.
through a
Right.
priest,
Right. Yeah.
I
So
don't,
what,
that's they've been indoctrinated to that.
yeah, and
That's
that's what
sad.
that's why we are programmed. We
Hmm.
are absolutely programmed to believe this is the way, this is the way we do it. And we're still, living in such a programmed society of, this is why they call it programming. When you watch television, you're being programmed to believe this is the standard, and this is how we live, and this is the way it should be or should not be, and
Hmm.
we still hold to the programming in a lot of ways. And when our children are programmed too
Hmm.
um, to react a certain way, and to uh, the worst thing you can do is go into self-rejection, where you reject yourself and you say, well,
Hmm.
I don't understand this. Why am I having these experiences?
Hmm.
Um, so it's very powerful when you take your power back, come back into your own center, take your power back, and you say, you know what? I don't care. I don't need religion. I need the divine. I need a relationship
Mhm.
with the divine that dwells within me.
I think
Religion,
when we talk about religion too, a lot of times we really think of it as the religion as the establishment, these set of rules or guidelines that
yeah.
um, you might embrace in your own spirituality or your personal religion, but you don't necessarily um, you're it's kind of like the bureaucracy of it,
Yeah.
or that kind of thing. All the you're also shedding all of the um, whatever wounding that comes with, and that takes a lot of time.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Yeah. But it's the institution. That's what I would label
institution,
it.
that's another term too. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's the institution of the corporate institutional religious
Hmm.
ideals, and there's many of them that you can embrace.
Hmm.
I could go rattle on for a while on that one. I mean, I've been through many different, what would I call them, denominations myself. I've been through
Hmm.
denominational church and
Hmm.
stuff, and religion only becomes a religion. You can become a part of a denomination, right? And
I'm in the
it might,
denomination of Shannon.
yeah, the denomination. Yeah.
Yeah,
I go to the First Church of the Bedside.
that's right.
Or out of the bedside or whatever. Sit up in the bed, in the morning on Sunday, and I'm at church. There you go.
Oh, I see. I'm
Get
like,
it? Yeah. She's like, what? What you talking about, girl?
I'm
What you
to the
talking
side. I
about?
didn't know that.
Yeah.
What is this appropriate?
I don't know, but it's okay. Anyway, well, I've heard all different.
Wait a minute here. Where is this going? This something we didn't talk about that for
No. Anyway,
especially
back to
today.
the psychic, sensitive, intuitives, and mediums. Okay. So, first statement I will say, and then we can go on that, is all mediums are psychics, but not all psychics are mediums. And you
But
may,
we should also say we forgot to say that everyone has the things that we talk about. We're going to label because we're the hairless monkeys that need things labeled.
right. Yes.
It's to
Everybody has
understand and
gifting. Everybody
absorb
has
them.
gifting. Yes.
Yeah, so you're going to be able to, or every person has, is a psychic on some level, is a medium on some level, is sensitive on some level, um, on some level.
Yes.
Everyone is.
Yeah.
So it's like, what is the thing that maybe comes? Because we've also talked about the clairs.
Yeah.
It's kind of the same idea. Like everybody has all the clairs. It's just what comes in strongest for you. So
Mhm.
yeah,
Yes.
hairless monkeys need these things.
That was the first
We
thing.
all are.
First thing that I did sort of that was defined to me, was that not all mediums are psychics, but not all psychics are mediums. So when you somebody that is very psychic intuitive, they're perceiving information from the client. That's a psychic connection you receive with your client. A medium
Now, what would you say is the difference between a psychic and a psychic intuitive?
mm, um
Or is it just more formal to say psychic intuitive? Maybe.
well, I don't know. Some people define themselves like that. They're more like, I'm a
Yeah.
psychic intuitive. Um,
And I think people have spent a lot of time trying to like separate themselves or define themselves for themselves or
yes.
just so
Yeah.
that other people understand. Um,
Yeah.
so then you get some variation too. So
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing. And we are just, as people, we like to define and label everything. You know,
mhm.
it's like some people label everything in their cabinets. This is where the plates go. This is where the cups go. This is where this goes. I mean, they define
Well,
everything, and we just
yeah,
that's how we are. And I'm like,
yeah.
I
I mean, because that's what when you're learning a new skill coming from the education field,
yeah,
for whether you're 5 or 105, and it's something new, it having things defined for you helps you file it into your brain so that you can retrieve it later. And like if you do, I remember this from undergrad that if you're if a student is learning a new skill and they've done it 8 times correctly, they're on the road to mastery. That's assuming that they don't regress, okay,
right.
and they don't just forget it because there's another issue going on.
Okay.
But if they've done it wrong those 8 times and they haven't been supported to to self-correct or somebody intervenes, they have to unlearn it 30 some odd times. They have to unlearn it. So it takes them much longer to unlearn it and
Wow.
then learn it correctly. So it's like 38 times. So it's like, I mean, these are all ballparks. So
Right.
so for us, it is important to have things clearly defined, because then because for you and I, our perception is like these are so very blurred, and it's harder for us to like, okay, let's put them into labels so that
Yeah. I'm not
somebody
gonna
else
lie.
can absorb it and then
Yep.
move through it. And yeah,
Yeah, it's
because
the truth.
eventually you will. You'll they'll not be so um, it's not even what won't be so necessary to have them labeled. But yeah,
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah, that's for me, it's difficult to define it down, because because that's I live
yeah.
it, eat it, breathe it, sleep it, it's like if I was a concert pianist and I was trying to teach somebody to play piano, I would be like, you're going to go with foundation, always
Right.
deal with the foundation. This is how we do it. This is how we do it. Yeah. So you're going to do that, and go with the beginning, and try and define it down. But it can be sort of can sort of feel very, you know, like you're
Mhm.
rowing a boat here, sort of, and trying to figure it out, sort of. I don't know.
So all mediums are psychics, but not all psychics are mediums.
Right.
That's where we were.
Yes. Very good.
So, all
So
right.
to break that down, I heard that years ago when I first got into more expansion and understanding my own gifts, and I thought, okay, that makes sense because psychics are perceiving information from their client psychically,
Or just, I mean, not even
and
necessarily where this isn't a like a client setting, but I mean, it could be
or
friends,
anybody.
family, dogs, cats,
Right, you're perceiving
animals.
information from that person psychically, and whereas a medium is receiving information from that something, an energy outside of the body of the person. This is something
Mhm.
when you've got a psychic connection with somebody and you're perceiving information from that person, whereas
We
you're,
should also mention that they don't necessarily have to be in their physical presence.
yeah, that's right, exactly. I can psychically tap into people anywhere. Um,
Oh, that's great.
uh, Psychic readings and mediumship readings are two opposite sides of the pendulum, but they're on the same path. Pendulum swings. I like that.
Okay.
That's the opposite, is when you're psychically activating, you're sort of seeing something onto your side, behind you, around you. For me, if it's the father or mother's family, it's on one side, father's family is on the other side. Guides and angels and stuff like that are usually right around, like a group, coming like a group, your own personal guides and angels. So then I've got somebody in front of me, or a situation in front of me, and I'm perceiving something. It's like
Hmm.
uh, you scan out and you see this like radar thing. Like for me, I feel it like it's an energetic radar, and
Hmm.
it's like bing, and it'll pick up stuff in the field, and the field
Hmm.
to me would be like this energetic field that's around everybody. Everybody has an energetic field around them, and
Yeah,
like you said,
you've sometimes heard it called auric field,
yes,
because your chakras, your energy centers, have layers. The
yes,
closest one to the body is your root chakra, right? But then
yes.
then they come up, they go out.
And then it radiates out, right? And so anything in that field that is stuck can be felt, can be picked up psychically. Or for me, I just sort of feel through the field, and I can feel stuff that's stuck in the field that needs,
And for me,
to be gone.
even though I wouldn't consider myself, not obviously not on your level, because I guess I would. Everybody's psychic, so we've already said that.
Yeah.
When I do chakra with or energy work on somebody, I actually physically link up to their. Um, they call it a hookup. I prefer link up because that's just kind of weird to be hooking up with all your clients. Um, like I feel the vibration or the flow of that energy center in my own.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
Um, like, especially when it gets to the solar plexus, a lot of times people are either slow and I'm literally moving along with them. Like I feel it, and as I move up, sometimes my head's like I'm head banging.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously I can stop it, but if I move
I
up,
think it's,
I
I think it,
want to.
when that's going on for you, I think you're absolutely going in with the rhythm of the energy center,
Yeah,
because
yes,
it's
that's what
the
I'm
energy
doing.
centers are like a wheel and they're moving. And so
Yeah,
your body just starts doing the pendulum with it.
yes,
And it's
yes.
really,
It's
it's
just like
amazing.
it's just
You
like
should,
a tuning fork. If you have
yeah,
a, you tune, you ding a tuning fork. We've talked about this before. You take another one and you don't hit it, but you bring it next to it. They both start to sing. It's the same thing.
exactly.
And we all do this in our lives. It's like it's just like women, like okay, women that have lived together will end up having a period at the same, around the overlap. They'll be at the
Yes.
same time. So they activate each other. Everybody links up, and so we see this happening in real time,
Yeah.
and it's just really profound when you start to really feel into it and expand into those areas of healing and whatnot, that it becomes more profound. So it's incredibly interesting. But yes, we like to play in a whole band together,
Yes. Yes.
whether we're musicians or not.
Exactly. Yeah, that's good. But that is so amazing. I've been with you when you were working on people, and I'm like, wow, this is a, I just, and you just, they get into the rhythm of the flow of what is going on in that person, and it's just amazing. And so your body starts just taking over with it, and
Mm-hmm.
it's so cool. Um, uh, okay, both psychic and mediums can do both or either. It's simply about where and what they are focusing their abilities on during a reading. Many psychic medium intuitives have a preference of where they like their energy to be most or where their strengths are. So everybody's strength is different, where they feel their strongest gifting is at. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Um, where they feel, some people feel very much more psychic, and some people, feel more more leaning to the mediumship, very connecting to those souls, to energies outside of themselves. And some people, they connect to even more. I would say well, there's a difference when you get into channeling, but they connect to other, what would you call it, other deities and energies
Mm-hmm.
outside of the uh, human form, whether we're connecting to ascended masters, um, which would be like Christ and Buddha and uh,
Mm-hmm.
Yogananda and, different
Mm-hmm.
ascended masters that are out there. Um, uh, that is totally a different thing when you're going outside of that scope of
Mm-hmm.
mediumship. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Um, but it's all the same package though, and it's all very very defined in the same way. It's what are you really expanding yourself out to, and some
Right.
people are picking up on all kinds of things. Unfortunately, I had a client yesterday and we were talking about how most of the people that have been locked up in home, places of insanity are really not insane people. These are people that
Yeah.
they are just have this open connection with spirit, and they go in there and they say, well,
And no guidance, no help, no support.
yeah.
You
And
know,
they say, I'm hearing voices and I hear this, and they'll say, okay, here you go home and take this and call me in the morning. And
let's
um,
put toxic chemicals in your brain
yes.
to, because if
And
you didn't start, if you weren't crazy when you entered, you sure are crazy when you leave. And the people around you, because people aren't, there isn't the same type of support that perhaps
yeah,
our, humans had in history that, dates back pretty far at this point. But
that's
yeah,
why it's so important to support people that, and really just encourage them in their giftings, and that they're not crazy. You're not, just if you hear voices or you hear something, you know, or you see things, flashes or in your mind's eye, you're not crazy. We are spirit beings living in a natural realm, And so
Right.
we are inclined to open ourselves up to feeling, seeing, and experiencing the spirit world, on different
Hmm.
levels. I mean, but then,
Right.
Hollywood has turned it into a whole nother thing, of course. You know, it's like,
Of course.
it's not what it seems. And you don't run through the grocery store and start giving messages to people. I mean, like Hollywood just, says, what I mean, this is the way we do it. We just go, I mean, it has happened a few times to me, but I don't go in the store looking for people to give spirit messages to. Um, because it's a very,
Doesn't work out very well.
yeah, it's a very overwhelming thing, and did it, I think, 3 times in all these years, and that was because the spirit, the energy was driving me crazy. Like, you have to do this, you have to do this, you have to do this. You'll
Hmm.
never, this opportunity is not going to happen again. And uh, so I was I was in the Goodwill, and I was standing next to a gal that was pregnant, and this energy just started driving me crazy. And I was like, and what I mean is I could feel it on, this
Hmm.
energy next to me, a male energy. I could feel it, and was just bugging me to talk to her and tell her thank you for considering naming the baby after me. That's all I heard.
Oh,
And I was like, okay. After about, I couldn't take no more. And I seen blue balloons around the lady anyway. So I went up to her and I said, I have to tell you something. I don't really ever do this, but da da da, And I said, there's a male energy that's was really wanting me to connect to you and tell you thank you for considering naming the baby after me, and that you're having a boy. And she started crying. Oh my God! I was like, I wanted to go hide because it was so, I knew it would be very, emotional, and a pregnant woman
sure.
anyway. I'm a pregnant woman, like, oh
Right.
no, spirit, we don't want to do this to a pregnant woman in a store, And she starts crying, and she said, "That's my uncle. My husband and I were just talking last night about naming the baby, which is a boy, after
Oh.
after him, And she said, "Thank you so much. That really, brings some validation for me, and that we should maybe, do this, And we were
Hmm.
just talking about it, and that he really appreciated that. So it was cool. In the end, it was really cool, but it was a lot of, uncomfortable a little bit. So you don't
Yeah.
run around getting into those kind of situations. I don't, would I want to? No, I think people are just, that's a lot of emotion for a lot of people. And it's a very
Yeah.
personal, don't you? And that's one thing I love. Shannon said to me one time, we were out at a fair. She's like, this is like going to the doctor in front of people. I wouldn't want to do this, at a
Yeah.
psychic fair. I mean, it's a great place to meet people, but you're hanging all your jewels out on the line.
Oh, yeah. Like when we went to that thing,
Yeah.
that was a couple years ago, and it was just it was weird. It's like somebody in your dressing room.
Yeah, and it's a very personal
Okay.
experience. And so that's why I'm like, do you really want to flag your stuff out in front of other people and be very emotional? I mean, I'm a very personal person. I'm a personal person. I mean, I like
Private.
my emotional moments. You don't really very often see me cry. Very, very rarely, because those are the moments that are very sacred and alone for me. That's just that type of person. So
I've seen you
I want to
cry.
I want to give those other people the same benefit.
Yeah.
Yeah, where I don't put them out there and like, here, hang your stuff out in the line and let's tell everybody. Nah,
Right.
nah, unless it was something.
So so mediums,
Yeah,
and then there's a difference between somebody that will channel.
yes, channeling and mediumship is totally another thing. So let's look at that for a little bit, because I know our time element. We are running on a time element here, and we want to get as much out there.
Yeah,
And
we've
I
got
before we leave, I want to encourage people that are feeling like they are, okay, here we go. The difference between, uh, oh no, that's wrong. Sorry. I got the wrong one. I was going into improving your mediumship ability. Well, we could hit there for a minute, but channeling to me, is when I look at channeling is like just like turning your channel. Back in the old days, we had a TV set and you had to turn the channels. I know I'm dating myself. It's okay. I'm gonna have a
You
birthday
still
next
third
year.
channel.
Yeah, and I'm gonna get a little older, so I'm just gonna channel that. Anyway, you turn the channel, and you used to we would have it where you turn it, and it would get in clearer. It'd get, and the
Oh my
channel,
goodness.
it was a tuner. You would tune that channel in, and
Wow.
this is back when I was a
That's why
kid.
they say tune in.
Yes, this is when I was a kid. And so you tune it, oh, I want to watch this, and you tune the channel in, and it would come in better. And so with that, uh, is the same way as channeling. You are tuning yourself in. I see almost like a extension coming through when I'm channeling. Then when I'm mediumship, I've got something with me, an energy beside me. Channeling, I am like plugging my wire in direct. Does that make any sense? Sort of,
Hmm.
like you're
Yeah.
plugging your wire into this direct. That's why you can come into with automatic writing, where you sit and
Right.
you write what you're channeling. That's what I do
Hmm.
when I see a client. I sit down and I channel in and I automatic write. I don't think I do a lot of connecting other ways. I mean, and then, mediumship will come in, and then the whole thing sort of rolls in together where you're pulling in all different directions. You're pulling in those energies that are beside you, no matter what they are. Excuse me. And you're focusing on your person that you're connecting to. Say you're connecting to your mother or whatever, and you're just psychically connecting. So you're pulling in all this energy of what's going on in her field personally. What's going on
Hmm.
for mom? You're pulling that in, and then channeling, you are plugging in to the divine. This is your crown center. Doo-doo, crown right up here. Plugging into the divine and sort of just coming through and write out on paper. Bam.
Hmm.
That's called automatic writing. You're not doing it. You have stepped yourself, you have moved yourself out of the way. You've become the hollow bone, as we call in shamanism. We say, when I become the hollow bone, I become empty so that I can bring forth exactly a message to you that is untainted with myself. Now it's clear, and I'm totally
Hmm.
stepped myself out of the way. There's a process in that happens, but that's what happens as you move into a really solid channel, because now
Hmm.
you're not yourself anymore. You're stepped yourself
Well,
out of.
it's not like you, right, but it's not like you've lost connection with yourself.
No,
I guess
no,
I just want to be
no.
clear with that.
You
Like
just
you're
open
still conscious.
you just sort of like you're an empty tube. You're like that, like your faucet. The faucet goes on, water comes through. What happens if stuff plugs your faucet? You're not going to get that good flow. You get rocks in the way, you're not going to have that good flow. So you want to stay clear. That's why it's always taught and known that the clearer you are, the better your messages are going to come forth. You're going to really be a good receiver of what, if you want to give a message to someone. Um, I would
I
say,
think what people don't sometimes understand too is um, that's you are deciding what comes and what doesn't come, because if you just flung those doors open,
yes,
there's going to be a lineup. And so just being in, like, so that time that you ran into that woman in Goodwill, that's like a unique situation.
yes,
So I think sometimes people think perhaps if they just are in the presence, they're going to get some kind of message. No, you're intending to not open that window or that door or whatever. However you want. You're not you're not working right now. You know what I mean?
yes, exactly. And I know a lot of people, there's a lot of fear attached to that, because people are afraid it's something like the movie Ghost, you're going to get possessed by something, and it doesn't work like that. Um, it's
Well, I mean, I suppose it could, but if you're really working at staying, within yourself, and you're the captain of the ship, then no, it won't happen. No.
Yes, yeah, exactly. You are the captain of your own ship, and you learn to set very good boundaries. The more you move into this, if you're very psychically active, most people are very sensitive. A lot of people are, and then it goes from, like I said, from that scope 1 to 100, where you're really super sensitive and you feel everything. Um, as you learn how to, put those boundaries up for yourself. I can't, you can't live like that constantly. So you put yourself into a protection mode, where when you go out, okay, I'm protecting my energy. I'm not going to allow things to really get to me today. But that's going to define too what type of work you are able to handle, what type of energy you can stay in. A real sensitive person is not going to work in a sports bar because you're not going to be able to handle it. Honestly, you're going to be in all that.
Well, I have worked with people in, like when I was an undergrad, I waited tables in, essentially it's a bar, but it turned into kind of more of like a dance club on the weekends.
Okay.
And yeah, there were people that were incredibly affected and by just all of that commotion and chaos all the time.
Yeah.
And it showed in, showed on their face, but it also showed in their physical health,
Yes, it
especially
will.
people that have, like a bartender, somebody that has, been a bartender for, so many years. But that's your local therapist for some people.
It
That's what
is
they do every
exactly.
day after work. So I think that almost, I think those people actually have to probably work at protecting themselves. But yeah, I mean, physically
Definitely.
it takes a
Definitely.
toll.
It does. It takes a toll. So you put up, so you learn to define yourself better, or as you move through, opening your centers up and learning to define yourself uh, quite a bit better. And okay, to improve your mediumship abilities, here's 5 simple steps. We'll run through those 5 things, and then we'll
Right?
sort of what is the five? Okay, I guess these are here. There's 5 steps. Okay. Connecting spirit will make you feel more grounded, stable, and secure in your own life.
Mm-hmm.
Um, by tapping
Definitely.
into the wisdom of spirit to gain a greater sense of what you want to create, you can make a bigger difference in the world. Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Connecting with spirit will provide you with deep wisdom and guidance about your path, and with wisdom, you could change the nature of your entire life. Uh, Connecting with spirit will assist you in cleaning up old issues in your life. Your guides will help you to identify emotions, situations that you can't let go of, which we dealt with that a lot last week, which was really good. Excellent stuff. Connecting with spirit assists you in understanding others and yourself in a more compassionate way. You'll be able to review your life and your experiences with more objectivity. That's really good.
Yeah.
And you'll be able to tune into the same wisdom that all mediums get to help you discover what activities, careers, diets, exercise, and paths are best for you. And that's, I guess, what I was saying. When you, even as a
Mm-hmm.
sensitive, as a psychic, as an intuitive, as a medium, you have to define what is your best, everything. What's your best diet, your best career, your best exercise, everything that is defined and works, what works for you. Because what works for you is not going to be what works for Susie over here, or another person.
Yeah, and I was just going to mention something that, I just thought of, that sometimes people, when you talk about connecting spirit, connecting to the divine, everybody kind of defines that for themselves. Sometimes people
Yes.
think of it, that maybe they're really into religion, like their traditional Christian religion that we're familiar with here in the United States, and um, they might think of, their connection is God in the traditional sense, of how it's been delivered to
Yes.
us,
Yep.
indoctrinated to. They might think of it like that. Other people think of, tapping into the divine or connecting the spirit as, um, their higher self.
Yes.
And so there's just different ways that people, and there's really no wrong, except like we said, like there's either light or dark, but there's really no wrong.
There isn't.
And
No, exactly. That's excellent. I love that. That's true. I love that you defined it, yeah, and broke it down a little, so people can get it. Because,
breaking it
yeah,
down.
yeah, break it down, break it down. Okay, here's the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, real quick. Set an intention.
Okay.
In order to get what you want, it's important that you identify what it is. Purposes for you to develop your gifts. It's better to have an idea of your purpose. Whatever you want, do you want to connect with angels, guides, loved ones, or are on the other side? Do you want to teach
Mhm.
others? Do you want to help people heal? Do you want to intuitively read people? Do you want to just remove doubt and fear? whatever your intention is, write it down and decide for yourself. Your angels and guides will then know what they can do to help you move forward. So that's number one. Set an intention, write it down. What do I want? That goes for everything in your life. You are living when doing and being who you are right now because this is what you have set your intention. If you want something different, you got to be something different. You got to say something different. Say it, tell a new story. Start a new story today about what you want for your life. I'm not happy with this job. I want a different job. Well, then start saying what kind of job you really do want. So this is what she's, what this is saying to us today. You want your gifts expanded, set your intention for it. Number two, release your doubts. No doubts. No doubts. Many of us believe we don't have the ability to connect. So we don't, right? I can't. If you say you can't, you can't. Like Yoda says, what does he say? Do not try.
There's no try, there's only
no
do.
Do, yes.
Or not do.
I hear that in the back of my head all the time. Every time I'm saying I can't, yeah, I won't. I don't want to try. I hear Yoda.
I used to tell a student in my class, he would say, "I'll try," and I'll say, "There is no try, Jedi."
Yes. Excellent. Oh, I love that. That's good. That's good. Okay, so we got to do it. Number three, announce that you're open to receive. So now you're saying I'm open. Once you've decided, set your intention, you announce that you're ready to receive. Many guides will hold off on someone's development because permission has not been given. This is done. This is done to assure that utmost respect for your boundaries is always held. Remember that too. Spirit is so beautiful because spirit will not go past your boundaries. I have set so many boundaries. Do not come in my bedroom, when I'm trying to rest and try to bring me messages. Do not do this when I'm wearing this. Do not do that. I got boundaries all around so that spirit always holds those boundaries, which is beautiful. So remember, if you want an experience, you have to be open to receive it. Number four,
tell them exactly what you want as well.
Yes.
Like tell them exactly what you want. So maybe you say for right now, or until I change this, or whatever. It's just like talking to.
This is what I want. This is what I'm expecting. Number four is protect yourself. While many beings and energies you encounter on your journey will be positive, loving, and compassionate, this won't always be the case. You may encounter lower energies, and for this, it's important for you to learn how to protect yourself, shield yourself from those energies. Once you have learned the basics of psychic protection, which is a really good subject, I'll say it, so maybe we'll remember it next week, of psychic protection and psychic attack.
Oh,
that would be a really good thing to go into.
Topic.
Yes, we should do that next week. Psychic protection and psychic attack, the psychic vampires they call them. We could talk about that too. But this is your next thing.
It can be incredibly profound, and it can be incredibly subtle, and it can be everything in between.
Yes.
It goes, for me, it's like how do I feel in my body?
Yes.
That's because it might just be, a family member or a friend.
Yes.
That you just kind of, what just happened?
Exactly. And then you're on the other end of it. Exactly. You're what happened? Once you learn the basics of psychic protection and find a few techniques, you'll start feeling more in control of your psychic and spiritual development and at ease with your life and your path, and be balanced emotionally and physically and all those good things. So we're going to go back over. Here we go. What was the last one? Number 5, build a foundation. Build a foundation of knowledge. Read any and all books that you can find on the subject. I did that. I went crazy reading books. I mean, I got so many books on spirit, people that have walked this path before. I even read a book by Teresa Caputo when I first started. People that, and right now she's like the it girl of mediumship, because she's made it more, what would you call it? More out there for the
accessible, more, she's been on TV
everywhere. Yeah. So people know that when you say Teresa, they know who you're talking about, and they identify that. Yeah. That way of her style of mediumship, but not everybody's style is the same way. Right. So that's another thing too. Read any books you can, seek out like-minded people. That's why you're tuning in here, or you wouldn't be interested. There's something psychically activated in you. Go to message boards, classes. I did some classes. Classes are great. Sign up for a course. Do something intuitive every day. As you continue to develop your knowledge, you'll begin to explore different ways. Perhaps you are skilled at connecting with your guides or angels. Maybe that's a skill card you could offer, or oracle cards, pendulum readings, explore psychometry, numerology, channeling Reiki, shamanistic
Right.
healing, on scrying. So those are all the ways, the 5 ways to expand yourself out there, expand your gifting, set your intention. Remember, an intention is so powerful. You don't do anything. You never set an intention, you're not going to get anything. You have to set an intention. Release your doubt. Uh,
Mhm.
Release your doubts. Announce that
Right.
you're open to receive. I'm open. I'm open. And
Yeah.
um,
So we kind of talked a little bit on our way here, or I was actually driving to my sister's
yeah.
house. It was on my way here for real. When we were preparing, like, bye, have a good day at work and school. My sister's leaving. Um, so what's the difference between um, being the psychic stuff or mediumship or whatever label you want to use, and being a shaman?
Yes.
And
Oh,
we talked about that a little bit. And I think the difference is, or one difference I would say, is you come at the path. The path is initiated differently.
yes. Yes. Um, I have read a lot of books on shamanism because that's very connected for me. Um, but and the main thing that they all talk about is a life and death experience. There's something
Mhm.
that crosses them over into that spirit realm in a different way,
Right.
and they I believe that they just take hold differently
Right.
of their path.
Yes.
Um,
And somehow, in some way, they were broken open. Like,
yes.
the egg was cracked, and here we go. Now we got to make an omelet.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. And so then a shaman, when you have that shamanistic or shaman experience, um, it is just, I think it's just, it's a whole other ball game in a lot of ways. There's just a different
Right.
twist on things. You relate to things differently, and then I would per se somebody that is just, if you're going to see a medium, when you go see a shaman, they're going to be your session is going to be quite different. You'll end up with, probably with some drumming. You'll end up with some activations. You'll end up with a lot of spirit animals. You'll end up with a lot of smoke, a lot of smoke and fire. um, uh, yeah,
And I think sometimes, even though at the end of it, the purpose is for healing, whether whoever
it
or
is
however
exactly.
somebody is defining themselves, and maybe they reach out for their support. But I think there's a stronger focus on healing for a shaman.
Yes, I believe that. That's
Mhm.
totally. And a lot of times, I know for myself, I sometimes have people contact me. I don't know these people at all. A lot of them. I mean, it's the first time meeting them, and I don't know what they need. So when I ask the spirit, sometimes the spirit has told me, oh, they just need a mediumship connection. They're just wanting to
Mhm.
connect to their grandmother. I'm like, oh, okay. So the whole session will go totally that direction. It's all about
Right.
connection. Then if oh, they need the whole package. When I hear that, that means they need a body scan. They need a whole shamanic healing. They need the whole spectrum and
Mhm.
connection. And so that's why I guess when I say it's sort of all rolled into one, you sort of just it just all flows how spirit sort of brings it to you, for me. And I think that's going to be defining for each person, like this, what we just went through. You have to set your intention and define what are you expecting, from this.
Mhm.
Am I just wanting to be activated more so that I can connect more for my family?
Mhm.
That say we lost a loved one in our family that's very dear to us, and I want to make that connection with them here in the
Mhm.
afterlife. Man, that's it. Just set that intention, bam, and be
Right.
open to signs that your loved one is connecting, which can be many things. That's a whole nother show too, really, of talking, because you
Right.
got pennies, feathers. I've had people get tattoos. I didn't know, I'm like, so there's something on your body that's in remembrance of your mother. And then they'll be like, oh, it's right here, man. Whip up their shirt sleeve
Hmm.
and, oh, I got a big feather right here that I got
Yeah.
this in memory of my mom. Okay. Well, mom knows that because mom is very present. They don't move and go anywhere. They are, you know, they're not far from you, put it that way.
Yeah. They're not hanging out in the cemetery.
No, not at all. That's where the body lies, but the spirit realm, the spirit always goes on forever and ever
Yeah.
and ever.
I had somebody start a conversation. This is months and months ago. Like, I don't know, maybe when we first started our podcast, and they messaged me and they were telling me, I can't remember exactly the story, but they were overseas, and they said something about they were being a little braggadocious basically, and I was just it was on Messenger, so it wasn't like I was hearing them out of guests or
Hmm.
anything. I was just reading, and one of the things that was said was, "I can't go to cemeteries," and then okay,
Oh, really?
they're not hanging out there, okay?
Yeah. And they're not there. Yeah, it doesn't matter.
It's just their meat suit.
Yes, exactly.
I thought that was funny.
That is funny. I can't go to
But
the.
obviously, the person was reaching out for something and they wanted to feel important. So it was like, whatever, who cares? But I
Yeah,
was just kind of like,
exactly.
all
Yeah.
right.
Cemeteries are pretty quiet.
Yeah, people just, desire interaction. That's cool.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, I can feel energies in cemeteries for sure. They're not hanging.
Yeah, it's not
They're,
like it's
they're not
vacant.
hanging out there
Stop
waiting.
it.
Yeah.
Right.
But I believe they could meet you there for sure. If you had that
Yeah.
intention, hey, meet me here, at the cemetery. I believe they can meet you there.
Hmm.
That's what you want.
Absolutely.
And that's why
Yep.
a lot of people will feel it, but um, feel that connection, there
Right.
with that place. But um, yeah, interesting, interesting.
Well, we should probably wrap this up. I have to go to
Yes,
work.
yes, I'll let you go to get your day going. Me too. I gotta
Yep. I have a
I
short
got a
day today.
person
So
later, and I get a person.
good person. You always have people.
I got people. I got a people. Yeah, so it's good. This has been awesome this morning, and
Yeah. Yeah.
good.
So we have to remember next week we'll
Next week,
do
psychic attack and psychic, and what do you call it? What do we
protection.
protection? Yeah, sorry, I'm like space cadet this morning. I haven't
Psychic
had my
protection.
coffee.
You know what? In fact, I'll schedule it right now and I'll name it that. So then we don't we
Perfect.
don't
That's
forget.
great. Yeah. Then it's all set and we're ready.
Yeah.
Next week. Psychic protection, psychic attack, psychic vampires. That's another word we hear a lot, but it's going to be good.
Mhm.
And
Or energy vampires.
our energy vampires. Yeah, I've had those, believe me. And they will hunt you down if you're putting out a lot of vibes because they need that and they need that energy to survive
Right.
and stuff. So blessings and love you so
Yes.
much.
Love you too.
Thank
Have
you
a
so
great
much.
weekend.
Have a wonderful day. Love you. Talk to you later.
Bye bye.